Welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World, resources for living with authenticity and purpose. We hear a lot about change. We hear a lot about transformation, becoming the best person that we are. But the question I want to pose today is how can you change if you don't recognize what isn't working? Now, this not working may be our actions, our thoughts, our words. They're the patterns in our life that we somehow deluded ourselves into believing that it's okay that we have them. So we see the destination of what we want or who we want to be, but we get stumped on how to get there. So no matter where we turn, the destination just seems very far away. And I have to be honest, I'm going to tell you, I am increasingly more disturbed by the violence in the world. It's so focused on what we as individuals want, we lose sight of what the community desperately needs. And that need is to care for the most fragile among us. Now, this is compassion shared for more than just the most obvious. Each of us is fragile in ways that we might not comprehend. And so even the strongest person you know has a fragility about them. And so for me, it's really discovering what in each of us is fragile and how can I respond to compassion to those parts of people. And in that way, I ask myself, how can the world change unless we as individuals change, unless we become more aware of what's going on in the world? And that change happens when we look through the illusions that we've been harboring, that we've built up, and it's taken probably years to build these up, and truly see ourselves while admitting our imperfections. And so what I will say to you is those imperfections are things that don't resonate who we truly are at the core of our being. I would say that a good place to start when we're identifying imperfections is to look at the ways that we hurt others, and in hurting others, how we harm ourselves. And those will give us a starting point for our imperfections. But I'll tell you, making this shift, this paradigm shift, takes courage and fortitude. We have to be willing to look at who we are and not get so depressed or feel so downtrodden that we throw it all away. But we have to be willing to look who we are and rise above that, to use our imperfections as life lessons and to truly shine who we are. So maybe this journey to the recognition of our imperfections is about caring less about the actions of others and about focusing more on ourselves, how we respond and react to the world. So if something a person does really bothers us, instead of focusing on, oh, well, they bothered me, is to ask ourselves, why am I so frazzled by what happened? So, and I'm going to tell you, I recognize that this concept is nothing new, but our way to consistently live this way is very difficult. When we focus on ourselves, we answer a very important call. And that call is for us to return to our true self. And this is what's important. When we become our true self, we become the light that shines through the pandemic and guides us into a new way of being. So think of that. How can each of us shine the true light that is within so that we become our own and the guiding light of other people? So I'll have to tell you, I, like many others, have lots of hurt and anguish that simmers in the chasm that divides us. I sometimes agonize over the question, how can I communicate with someone when we speak two very different languages? And so as I backtrack, we both may speak English, but our words are based upon different value systems, and that's where we speak different languages because they come out of different roots of values. I would like to believe that more often than not, mine is the language of compassion, that that's the values that I speak from, and that compassion can help bridge that divide. So let's use compassion to create an equitable world. But that means that we have to be willing to bridge individual and collective chasms by identifying our fears. When a fear is a nameless, faceless companion, we can get stuck in our differences and the illusions that we are farther apart than we really are. But when we believe in the possibility of change, we must begin to understand what stops our transformation. In understanding even a little bit, a little part of what stops us, we gain the power to confront what simmers in the chasm. When we gain that understanding, we also gain the courage to build a bridge across the chasm. How do we get that understanding? Gosh, I'm a big one. You ask, you gain questions, you introspect, you reflect, you come to a place where it feels like you are in a settled place that speaks from your heart. And it's a willingness not to have fear to ask those questions and to continue to dig in so that you can understand again and again and again. It's all about gaining knowledge that invites us into an understanding that is not one of tacit agreement. It's the understanding that breeds a recognition of why we do what we do, answer to the question, and why others do what they do. And in this seed, in this realization, are the seeds of our change. When we nurture them, we take that step by step journey of transformation. So for me, the answer to what is not working is not found in the nebulous out there. It's found within me. For it is in the core of our being that we have the strength, the courage, the fortitude to peel back the layers of hurt and finally own who we are. And that can be really exciting to own who we are. And once we own who we are, that's the power behind the way we respond to the world. No longer do we focus on the behavior of another. We focus on how the behavior impacts us and how we respond with compassion. So it doesn't mean that it's out there coming into us. It becomes a reflection of how our internal response creates the world around us. And that can be really tough. I like to tell people, your life really is about you, not in a selfish, narcissistic way. Your life is about you in a way that you grow into becoming the person you're meant to be when you don't take things so personally. The only thing personal about it is your reaction or your response to it. So I would like to wish you the strength, the courage, the grace, the fortitude to recognize what is not working, to ask the questions, and to make the changes in your life. Thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Additional resources are available at intentandaction.com. That's intentandaction.com. You need a little help bridging the chasm? As a intuitive coach catalyst, would be happy to work with you 1 session, 5 sessions, however many sessions that it takes. No matter what, keep asking yourself, what do I not know? Discover the answer and then work forward. Have a terrific day.